Well, hey, ladies, how are you?
Hey, Robin, welcome. We're so happy that you're here with us today. And for the Art Connection Summit, October 7th through 11th, we are going to have so much fun. It's going to be great.
Yes.
So we want to ask Robin some questions and just kind of have a conversation. And what we thought we would do is go through a couple of different areas of her life, not too personal, but a couple of different areas of her life, so that you guys out there can get like a really good feel for who she is as an artist, and a little bit about her class that she will be teaching with us. So let's talk about a little bit about Robin's art history, like her own history. And I actually find that this is really interesting because with most of us artists, there's always a backstory. There's always something behind what drives us to be an artist. So let's delve in a little bit to that.
Well, Robin, we really are excited you being here and to get to know you a little better. I know that you and I have worked together several years ago,
Yes.
and it's just great that we just keep reconnecting with artists that we haven't been talking to for a while. And I think this whole situation that we've been in for the last couple of years, it's brought us together in a crazy kind of way, you know? So that's exciting. Well, we were just wondering, what was the strongest influence you had when you were growing up to do your art?
My mom, of course. I think that's probably typical, and my grandma and my Aunt Patsy. They all sewed, and my mom would sew our clothes. This was in the 60s. I think lots of moms did that. I don't know if she actually liked it, but I think it was more necessity because it was cheaper to do it that way. But I always remember her going to craft classes to make like ceramic decanters and doing weird little like velvet portraits that had jewels on them.
Oh yes,
do you remember those?
Yes, we do.
She was always making things, and so I think that influenced me a lot. And my grandma was a professional seamstress, and my Aunt Patsy was an amazing seamstress too. So all of them together were very creative. So that's how that started, I think.
I love that. And then how did you start making your art?
Well, sewing, because that's what I saw first. I was just enthralled with it. I couldn't wait to learn how to sew, especially on the sewing machine. I don't think I sewed on the sewing machine right away, but I hand sewed a lot of things. And my Aunt Patsy gave me my first sewing box, and it was pink, and it was so cool. I loved all the buttons in it, and all the little pieces of fabric and stuff. And I have a sister, and she got one too, and she hated it. She's completely opposite from me. Does not like any kind of crafting whatsoever. So
I find that
my gateway, I think, the sewing.
I love that. I find that how, that box to you held such treasures in it.
Yes.
And so it's, it's all in what like speaks to us. Yeah. I think that's great. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting that you talk about that, Ron, because it really brings back memories from our own childhood. When we talk and we have these interviews, it's like, yeah, well, that happened to me, or that was part of my life as well. So it always is very interesting when we do interviews with our artists. And why do you make art, Robin?
It really makes me happy, and I constantly have ideas in my head for new things to make, and so it's a challenge for me, and it's like somebody who likes doing puzzles, I guess, or doing, it's a challenge for them. So they want to figure out how they can do it and make it and come into reality and 3D. So I can't imagine myself not creating. I'm a total bee when I'm not creating.
Yeah.
I think we get that.
Yes, yeah, we're right along that. We're with
Yeah.
you on that. Yeah, definitely. And I think it's interesting that we find that there's that congruent line of like joy and happiness, and that like the artist, it brings them so much joy and so much happiness, and how to express that. And then also, but the other thing that you said too is that I can't imagine not doing this.
Right.
That would
Yeah.
just, yeah. Life would be.
I used to work at a 9-to-5 job years ago, and I hated it. But when I got home, no matter how tired I was, I would make sure, not even make sure, it's something I had to do. It's almost like having a glass of wine at night or something. I had to work on something. Even though I knew I had to get up early in the morning, it was my saving grace, that and exercising. They kind of they put me in my happy place,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
we both can relate to that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And then what advice would you give to a beginner artist?
You know what? When I got that question, it really made me something that I love talking about, because I feel like I've always tried to impart that into other people. If I feel like they're artistic, but they don't feel like they can do it maybe for a living, or they don't feel good enough, I think that they need to educate themselves first of all, whether it's getting a degree in a university, or just taking tons of classes. And for me, the impetus was somebody had told me that I should sell my cards. I used to do a lot of rubber stamping, and it just shocked me. I'm like, what are you talking about? Nobody's going to want to buy these. And so that kind of started me thinking differently. And so what I did was I started making them, I was selling them, and then I challenged myself to send in some projects to be published, and I published, and that's it. I just took off from there to a magazine. So if somebody thinks they want to do this, whether it's for a hobby or to make a living, they should set some kind of deadline for themselves, whether it's a challenge on Facebook through an art group, or sending in something to a publication to be published. And if they're not published, then they can do it again. They should send in, 9 pieces to really send it home, and just kind of give themselves a deadline, so they don't just kind of while away the hours, and before they know it, a year has gone by and they haven't made anything.
I think that's fabulous advice, and it's I think the thing about being an artist is you have to be brave. You have to have
very vulnerable.
Yes, and just realize that we're all like that, and just step into it, and like you were just saying, just get out there and just start and just do it. Yeah. I think that's really good.
Yeah. I really do think deadlines are important, because without that, you're gonna find excuses not to do anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? Do the dishes or
right.
whatever. Look at YouTube for hours or whatever it is,
Right.
Yeah.
And like you were saying too, it's like self-imposed deadlines, that type of thing too. I mean, Adele and I both do that regularly. Some of them are deadlines we have to have, but we have personal deadlines that we place on ourselves so that you can accomplish things.
Yeah. And a lot of times when you're under pressure like that, for me anyway, sometimes people don't work very well under deadlines, but I kind of feel like I do. And I think most people do. And it kind of pushes you into thinking about things differently, maybe coming up with a project that you might not have even thought about.
I agree.
So let me just before you get started, Leslie, we have Lucretia that just came in. Thanks for being here.
Yes.
She says,
hi, Lucretia.
Said great advice. And for those that are just coming in, I just want to say welcome. And also, when you put your comments, if you could please put your name if your name doesn't show up, because sometimes it doesn't. And I see somebody else that is agreeing, and we don't know who you are, but we're glad you're here. So we will take a minute after some of the questions that we're asking, and just answer if there's any questions that you may have. So, okay, let's go.
All right. So the next section that we thought we would dip into is into Robin's studio. And so what we're doing here is we are trying to get you guys out there like a feel about like how she works and what's going on in her mind and that type of thing. So let's jump into the mindset of the studio.
Okay, Robin, here we go. Okay, Robin, you have to disclose, what is your favorite artist tool?
Well, I have lots of them, but this is one of those questions I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to say? My bone folder.
Oh, okay.
Because it's real bone. I don't think they make them anymore like that.
Mm-hmm.
And also I have to say one other thing. I have a little red pouch with my most precious jewelry pliers and tools.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started making jewelry years ago, when I first became really serious about it, I was taking classes with my favorite teacher. Her name's Lynn Merchant. And she would walk in and plop down her leather pouch, and it had the tools that she used all the time. And I wanted to be just like her. So I went out, I didn't find a leather pouch, but I found this little red bag or pouch, and I still have it. It's completely ripped apart, but without it, if I don't have everything in there, and I put my bone folder in there too, I kind of freak out. So that's probably the most organized I am. Everything else in my studio it looks like a bomb went off, but I know exactly where my bone folder is and my jewelry tools. They're always in that pouch.
That's great.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's great. And is there, well, you kind of touched on this a little bit, but is there something that you can't live without in your studio?
My sage. I have a shell with sage in it. And so whenever I feel kind of distracted or I want to be connected on a different level and clear my head and any negativity that I have, I burn sage. So that's in my studio.
I love that. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I like to burn candles and that kind of stuff.
I love candles too.
Yeah, it really helps.
The smell. I love that aroma, I think. Yeah.
So, Robin, is there an element of your art that you enjoy working with the most, and why?
Yeah, that was another very thought-provoking question. I had to figure out, element means different things. So I kind of looked at the dictionary.com and I was like, oh, yeah, that makes kind of sense. So for me, I started writing it out, and the main theme is vintage items. I love going to flea markets and thrift stores and shopping on eBay, buying unusual, one-of-a-kind textiles, jewelry components, odds and ends. And I always incorporate those somehow in anything that I do, whether it's jewelry, journals, whatever it is I am making. So it makes my art more original. And so that's the main theme, is vintage and antique pieces. Small pieces.
I love that. And it's, it's bringing history in, past into what you're doing now and recreating a whole new life for those pieces.
Yeah, definitely. I think artists are the original recyclers. We recycle a lot. We keep a lot of things, right?
Yes.
Like magpies.
Yes.
And also there's an energy that is imbued in the piece when you use those things, and they attract people.
Yeah, I agree. I love vintage. I love always putting some vintage on my pieces.
Yeah. I mean, because unfortunately now the only hobby stores around me are Michael's and Joann's, and everybody knows what you can get.
Right.
And so they're going to go, oh, I can just make that, or, oh, I saw that at Joann's or whatever. It just doesn't have the same feeling. That's basically the thing. It doesn't have the same feeling to me.
Well, and I find that if you really look at the vintage pieces that the quality is like so stunning, and the workmanship, and you just think, wow, I mean, they really took some time creating this or doing, even if you disassemble, you can still see the quality in each little piece.
And the fact that it's still around, if it's 100 years old and it's still around, hello.
I know.
That's amazing. Yeah. Let's. Lucretia just made a comment here.
Mhm.
Let's see if I can get this to come up.
Oh.
Yeah. We love technology, but we also love our special tools, don't we?
Yes, yes, definitely. Yeah. I love that question. And then, Robin, what is your favorite part of the process of your creating?
The challenge that it brings. So for example, I made a necklace using an old leather coin purse, a very tiny one, and I wanted to find more of them, but they weren't available. And if I did find them, they were very expensive because it was an antique. So I figured out how to make a leather coin purse myself, a little one, a tiny one, so I can use it into jewelry. So it's the challenge that I like. I like looking at something and thinking, okay, I can't afford to buy that, or I can't find that thing, so I'm going to figure out how to make it.
And I tell my students, art is creative problem solving. It's so we're all inventors because we need something, so we'll invent the tool, or we'll the device, or the whatever we need. We can make those things. And it's so cool.
It's very, very, very true.
And we also have the foundation. We just keep gathering all this information, and we're ready to go when we're challenged like that, which is great. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So when you're working on all your pieces, when do you know when your piece is finished?
When I feel giddy and I love it. I'm like, oh my God, I love this so much.
Well, that's a good answer.
I mean, that's a very hard thing. I mean, I don't feel that way all the time, but because I teach classes, I'm constantly trying to figure out new things to make for class, because honestly, nobody wants to learn how to make simple earrings. They want something that's super complicated and that nobody has ever made ever.
Right.
So I have to figure that out all the time.
Yeah. It's such, and that is such a it's, as for you as a teacher, that is like such a wonderful thing that you realize that, and that you continually, you have to be so far ahead of your students, I mean, sometimes years ahead, just to develop a concept or a technique or whatever. And so you're always you're on the front end, you're in the prairie, searching it out, trying to find.
Yes, take this blade of grass and we're going to make a huge doll with it.
Right. Yes. And then we're going to build a house.
Yes, out of the grass.
Oh my goodness.
And this leads us to what do you do when and if you ever reach a creative block?
I leave. I do mundane things like wash dishes. Yeah, I don't. It'll just drive me nuts if I just stay in one place. So I just leave and I maybe look at my emails or clean or something. So that's what I do.
I think that's so great, because I think that helps you become recentered again, because, and Adele and I have comments, we talk about this quite a bit, is that we become so focused in on what we're doing that we can't even see it anymore.
Right.
And then you're stuck because you can't even see it.
Well,
and so stepping away.
When you're going, where's my scissors? Where's my scissors? And they're in your hand.
Yes.
It's that same kind of thing. It's like, okay, I need to take a break because I'm going a little cuckoo.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. So just leave, just step back, just chill out a little bit, relax.
Right.
Yeah.
And then what happens too, by doing mundane things will pop up. Like, oh, I might find the solution.
Right.
To whatever it is that was bothering me.
Yes.
Or honestly, sometimes I'll just leave something for a year or whatever. If I don't like it, I'm not going to force it unless I have to force it to, for a class or whatever. But a lot of times I just will leave it and I'll finish it later and it'll come to me, Maybe I see a new supply or, something that I think will work with it. And so that's what I do.
Mm-hmm. And even sometimes, even like just a color or, a fabric or like, like your vintage pieces or something will be,
Yes.
and then it's that I agree, like stepping back, because I've left things for a year before too, because I've had to, because I don't want to force it. It has to come in. The idea has to develop and it has to come through you. And so forcing it's not going to work. So
No.
that's great.
Sometimes art takes a long time.
It does take a long time.
Yes, I agree. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And I find that this is, when people say, how long does that take you to make? How long did it take you to make that? Well, you can't truly answer that. I mean, because it's so intuitive and so soulfully driven that you can't, we can't work by the hour.
No, it's not like you go in your studio and you work for 8 hours and finish your project. That never happens.
Right.
It's you're usually working on several projects. So it's kind of hard to decide what that one project took because you were working on this other one too at the same time.
Right. And sometimes they'll springboard off of each other.
Yes.
They'll help each other too.
Definitely.
Yeah. Great. Any more questions, Adele? Anybody speaking up?
Looking right now, just some comments we've had. Let's see, Looker should feel better. Oh, she feels better about procrastinating.
Yeah.
As much as I say I'm not a procrastinator, sometimes that happens, especially when you got a lot of stuff going on. You're going, okay, what's going to come first here?
Right. And I think in a sense we can almost redefine procrastination.
I agree.
Like Robin was saying, you can't just go in and slam down 8 hours and walk out with a finished product. Sometimes it needs to be nurtured and developed, and so you're not truly procrastinating. And when you're procrastinating, and when the idea takes some time to develop too. So
definitely.
So Robin, something that you have designed, what do you of that particular design? What is the one that you have created that you love the most?
Well, I've created hundreds of things, but the thing that came to mind because of that question were actually two things. A few years ago, Santos dolls were real popular.
Yes.
And I couldn't afford to buy one, like the real ones, not the knockoffs. And I thought, well, that might be a really great class to teach. And little did I know it was an extremely involved process. I only taught it once, and that was it. And I made it from scratch with, a wooden cage, and I soldered the cage, and I made the doll, the head out of polymer clay, and sculpted it and everything, and the arms, and it came out really nice. And I had cloth, paper, scissors contact me, and they wanted it to be on the front of the cover. So that was really exciting, all the hours that I put into it. So that was a major thing. And then I have a sun catcher that I made for a class several years ago as well. And it's just continues to be this thing on Pinterest. It's been probably pinned over 1 million times now.
That's great.
And I made it because the things that are on the sun catcher are personal. So I don't know if that somehow kind of comes through to people. People are always wanting to buy it, but I can't because it has personal items on it. And it's one of my top classes in my online school for soldering. So even though it's a beginning soldering class, again, it's a complicated thing, but people still want to make it, even if they can't finish the whole thing, So those are the two things I think that are among some of the other things that are my favorites.
Yeah.
And, each, we're such individuals as artists, and we're so unique. And so we have, we view the world through our own eyes. And so what inspires you?
When I go for walks, a lot of times on the beach, I will find things on the beach that inspire me to maybe make a piece of jewelry, whether it's a little piece of driftwood or some sea glass, and then walking through my neighborhoods. One of the neighborhoods I live in, specifically up in Palos Verdes, it's gorgeous up there. And it's almost like a rural area, but it's still the city. and there's just amazing houses there, and it just really, and peacocks, there's peacocks in this one area. So that's very inspiring too. Going for walks, I guess, in nature, which sounds kind of cliche and silly, but it really does kind of clear your mind. And I'm always looking for things. I've always been looking for little treasures on the ground, and those kind of make me come up with ideas.
I think that's one of the beautiful things about being an artist is, you know, like I was saying, you see things through your own perspective, and going outside and finding even a twig is like, what can this be? I mean, I have a whole box of these little tiny broken off branches that I would go to the park and I would collect them like every day. And finally somebody came up and they go, "What are you doing?" You know, anyway, every day picking up these little branches. And I'm like, they're so beautiful. I don't know. I just have to have them.
Get away from me.
Yeah. I'm an artist.
I
like,
want my twigs.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
So
well, it's amazing the things that you come up with, Robin, and they're so creative, and there's so many wonderful techniques in them. And we're so excited about you being with us at this Art Connection Summit this year. And we just love the project that you are bringing. And I'm going to post it now.
Yes.
And you can tell us a little bit about what inspired you to make this piece.
Okay.
I mean, wow, look at the colors.
I know. Incredible. Yeah. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, that's, I think, what inspired me was I had been hoarding those fibers, the dyed silk, velvet, and all the trims literally for probably 20 years. I just didn't want to use them because they were so beautiful. And I thought, why am I hoarding these? And if I love them so much, then some other people probably would like to learn how to do this. And so the fact that I've been making journals for the last couple of years and putting this together, I just thought those are kind of an interesting combination. And also I know a lot of artists that follow A for Artistic work with dolls, and also mixed media. So I think the dyeing process for velvet is going to be a great jumping off point for doll artists and any other kind of artist that loves to work with textiles. I could not find any classes on dyeing silk velvet online. And I felt like maybe there's a need for it because I love it so much. I hope other people love it so much. I mean, there's lots of information about dyeing cotton for quilting and cotton in general, but really nothing for silk velvet. Maybe like silk chiffon, yes, but not silk velvet. So that was kind of my impetus to put it together.
Yeah, well, it's absolutely beautiful. And we have had several people asking us, and it's great that you're explaining all this because we have the viewers are wanting to know a little bit more about. Now, is that paper in the center of your journal there? Is that handmade paper?
It's not handmade. Some of it's hand dyed, which will be a bonus in the lesson. It's just coffee dyed or tea dyed paper, and then the rest of the paper is watercolor paper and some vintage papers. So it looks like there's fabric, and there is, but it's not. It's more for decoration. There's really no purpose. I just like the way it looks.
It's fabulous.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And the colors in it are so brilliant. And I think that people will find that, like you were saying, with the dyeing of the silk, people will find that whole process so interesting. And just how you put your colors together and how you create just this, beautiful cover, and then the laces that you use. And, and I think the other thing is what's really wonderful as artists is we can take techniques and cross them over into our own medium. So this will be you'll end up with a beautiful end product here, but you will have so many cool techniques that you'll be able to take away with this too.
Absolutely. And then they can hoard it too for a long time.
Yes, I would be, and add to it. I mean, it's something, the beautiful thing about a journal is it's never really finished, So
Yeah, and they can use it to jot down drawings for ideas that they have, or write down formulas for the dyes that they're going to be using. I also realize that there's so much information out there, and everybody has a different way to dye things. So my focus is trying to make it as clear and concise as possible and simple, because it can get overwhelming. So I just wanted to tell people that if they're thinking, oh my God, I tried dyeing things before and it came out horrible, or it was a mess, I'm formulating the class in such a way that I'm hoping that that'll take all that fear away, or frustration maybe.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the reasons that we really love having you with us, Robin, is because of, you do have a teaching history, and you do know how to communicate these things, taking a complex idea and making it into a simple, malleable thing that they can do, which is really wonderful. Yeah. So can you tell us one of the reasons that you're excited about teaching with us and being with us?
Well, I was very honored, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm always honored if somebody wants me to come and teach. And I kind of always wonder why they chose me, but that's for another day. Because there's so many people out there. I love making new friends and new student friends. And I love sharing what I do. I remember listening to Oprah one time, and I think somebody asked her why she did what she does, and she said she loves to share. And I was like, I do too. That's like why I do this. I love to share. I don't want to just be in a bubble and just keep everything to myself. I want to share it with people. That's why I have my YouTube channel too. Because I think that's another part of creativity. If you're a beginner artist, you want to maybe you do want to start your own YouTube channel too, so you can share what you're doing. And that's how you get better, and you keep practicing, and you just become better and better at it.
That's very true.
One of the things that I recently this information came to me, and that is that art really is two ways. And it's first that we put it out there, but then it's also that somebody, it's the other side, that they receive it.
Right.
So if art is really a two-part process. And so like you were saying, is getting out there and sharing it with others. That's part of the art.
Yes. Yeah. And it is vulnerable. You do put yourself in a vulnerable position, like you said.
Absolutely. Yeah. When you put yourself out there, you gotta beware that comes back.
Especially on YouTube, some people can be pretty harsh.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
So we have somebody here that made a comment. Look at there, Robin.
Trish. Hi, Trish. She's one of my followers on YouTube.
Yay. Oh, that's so great.
Great.
I love that.
Well, this is going to be an exciting time. Thank you for being here.
Yes, we love it.
Well, it's just been so much fun to get to know you and to, talk about your studio, your favorite tools, and what inspires you. And let's see, we have somebody else here bringing some comments. Let's see what else.
Oh,
that's awesome. Hi, Debbie.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's
And
great.
it's great. Yeah, it's so great. And I'm glad we're doing these interviews. We did them last year, Robin, and really got a good response. And it's like we have said before, our main goal is to connect artists, whether it's mixed media or figurative art, painting, or whatever it is. We want to connect all of these artists to other artists and people that have no idea about the medium. There's people that say, I didn't realize that could be done. So it's exciting.
Yeah, honestly, I was blown away by the e-magazine that you just did, and the interviews and artwork of everybody. I was like, oh my God, these people are amazing. Artists are amazing. Like, they're top of the line,
Yeah.
Well, I think we're seeing a lot of teachers are really stepping up their game. especially with having to do everything online. So there's a lot of there's been a big learning curve for so many.
Right.
But we have seen where they had started and where they are now, and the growth has just been amazing.
Right.
It really has. So besides what you're doing, Robin, what other interests do you have?
I love to paint, and I love mosaics.
Okay.
I'm an artist, and I teach certain things, and people know me for certain things, and they expect me to teach classes on jewelry and altered art and journals. But my hobbies are painting and doing mosaics, and I love doing those. And I don't really like to sell my paintings. I'm very attached to them. Everything else, pretty much, I know I'm going to make it and I'm going to sell it for the most part. Pretty much everything I've ever made, I just sold. But my paintings are another thing. So I love to paint, and I'm hoping to have a little bit of downtime this fall and winter so I can paint and do some mosaics and maybe take some classes. I love taking classes. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm so excited when I can take a class in person. I take lots of classes online, but I love, 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 love taking classes in person. So.
Yeah, we were just having this discussion the other day. I think Leslie said, I have to stop buying online classes because I can't take them.
Yeah. I don't have time to take them. Yes.
Oh, that too.
Yeah.
That too.
Yeah. I just they're all waiting there for me, but I don't have time to do them. So
I know. So by taking a class in person, you're there. You have to take it. Right.
You have to show up. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Absolutely.
Well, I love also live classes, and looking forward to. In fact, I'm taking one in September. I can't wait. It's going to be 5 days. Can't wait.
So it's like an art retreat, maybe?
No, it's. I'm going to Las Vegas. There is a big sculpting class over there with live model. So we'll see. Let's see what I want.
Wow.
I'll share my experience. Pardon?
Yeah, 5 days. That's a long.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's long hours. They mean business. It's a school just for sculpting. So it's going to be.
Wow. What's the medium? Is it just going to be clay or
clay?
Like clay that you would have to fire?
I would think so. I can't tell you much about. I just know that it's clay, water-based. I'm sure. Just to get us going. So, but I'll be posting some information on that. So that should be a lot of fun. And so anyway, it's great to have you here, though, Robin.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And also, thanks for mentioning the e-magazine. We have been so excited about that magazine and showing everybody's works in there. It's just been great. In fact, there's a nice article about you in there and some of the things that you do, because there's some other art pieces that are in the magazine. And if anybody's interested, you can still purchase it and, learn more about what Robin's up to.
Right. So, and this is a special issue that is geared specifically for the Art Connection Summit and the teachers. Right. So it is a special edition that Adele brought out for us. So it's great. Yes.
Yeah, and I do think it's important for people who are budding artists who want to become, more well known, or maybe even do this for a living. I think this particular e-magazine is a fantastic jumping off point, because you get to see the backstory of all the other artists that you asked. So there's a common thread sometimes with artists and how they started. And so it might be good, for people to look into to see, like, oh gosh, that's kind of how I grew up, or I think I can do that.
Yeah. Right. Well, it's thank you, Robin. And we're always looking for artists to come in so we can feature them in their artwork. And we also have a section, well, not in this particular edition, but in other issues, we have show and tell, where people can submit if they've worked on something and they would like to submit it. So there's a lot of opportunities, and it gets a pretty good readership, maybe not right away, but as time goes on, people do pick up the issue.
Right.
And so our Robin, our closing question to you is, what is your craziest idea for your dream work?
Well, it's probably
Put
not
it out there.
I would love to be a featured artist in the Sundance catalog.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I'll also maybe have my own gallery showing someday. That's
Yes.
like really crazy for me.
Yeah.
And have a book published. I've tried to do that and didn't work out, but
Those are good. Those are great.
I love them.
You know, I truly feel that, you know, if you say it and you put it out there, then your energy starts moving that way.
Yeah.
And
Totally. I totally believe in that.
Yeah. So we will keep an eye out for all of that. I get the Sundance catalog, so I'll be looking for you. So,
So
it's
let's
a good
see.
possibility. Yes.
We have somebody here with a comment. Let's see. Oh,
That's so nice, Debbie. Thank you. Yeah.
we really appreciate that, Debbie. We are trying so hard to reach out to so many artists and to connect everybody. And the community has been really, really good for that.
Right.
Yeah. And if you have friends that might be interested, just tell them. Tell your friends, your family you think that would be interested.
Yeah. And the one thing that Adele and I have really worked for is to make this a complete art package, you know, so we're not just sticking with one particular style or anything, that we want to bring in a whole grouping for people, because everything's possible, you know.
Yeah, and you definitely did that, I think.
Yeah. Well, wait until you see what we have in our art box presentation. You are just going to love it. We've been working on this not stop, trying to get this up. We hope to release it next week, actually.
So we have like probably 20 presenters coming with all kinds of things. So we're very excited about that.
Wonderful. That sounds great.
Yeah, it's going to be this year's going to be jam-packed full of really cool things. So yeah. So Robin, do you have any final words that you just are coming to you, or, you know? anything?
I'm just really happy to be in such good company, you know.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm honored that you guys wanted me to be on this, and it's kind of prestigious, you know, to be in an art summit.
Yeah. Well, we so appreciate you, and we love what you do. We love all the things that you do. And, you know, you sent in several proposals. And so it was we had to struggle through it to, you know, because we loved each and every one of them. So thank you.
I'm glad you chose that one, because it was something it's completely new.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, I think I absolutely fell in love with all the colors.
Yeah.
Because that's our theme, you know, all the colors.
Yeah, it is. And wait till they see. It's one of those things. Dyeing fabric and this kind of fabric is so addicting, because you don't know what the outcome is. So that to me is so exciting. I had to stop because I'm like, oh, Robin, you have to make the clash. You have to start taping. You have to start making things now.
That's so fun. I love it. And I love like your enthusiasm and just your passion for this whole project and the other things that you do too. So it's gonna be so much fun. Yeah. So
I think the people that take the class are going to get a lot from it, and I'm going to be adding little bonuses. It's not just going to be what, you know, we're saying. I'm going to be adding little bonuses here and there, so they, you know, get some little extras.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's great.
They will truly appreciate it. And we see that a lot of the people that attended the one from last year are already contacting us and saying, open the registration. We're ready to sign up. We want several classes. In fact, we had a lady that signed up for almost all of them last year. She
signed up for all the classes last year. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, why not? They're so good, and they're a great value, and you're going to learn a ton. It's just going to add to your art.
Yep, it's true. And the beautiful thing about these is that you can download all the information, so you don't have to do it at that moment. You know, you can, like this one gal, she downloaded all the classes, and so she's been doing them until like this next summit, and then she'll probably do the same thing again.
Oh my gosh!
So
That's
she has,
dedication.
yes, and so she'll have continuous things to do throughout the year while she's waiting for the next summit. So anyway,
Well,
yeah.
and I believe she had mentioned, Leslie, that she was doing some of them with her daughter.
She
Remember?
is, yes,
Yeah,
with
she
her
was doing
kids.
them with her
Yep,
daughter,
yep,
which is
definitely.
that
So
much more
yeah,
fun.
I think that's really fun.
Let's see. We have another comment here.
Oh, that's nice.
Thank you.
Thank you for writing. Yeah. We love our teachers. You know, we really go out there and hand select them so that, you know, that we feel that they are terrific in their own fields and established in their own fields. And then we can bring that with full confidence to all of you guys too. So,
Yeah, that's right.
Mhm.
Well, it's just going to be amazing. And I am just so excited about next week because we're releasing the rest of the
I
site.
know. Yeah. So you'll be able to see, you know, the whole complement of everything. And so we're excited. So thank you, Robin, so much.
You're welcome.
Yes, I love that you were able to do this with us. I just think it really helps people, you know, to like see your personality and to
Right.
really feel your passion for what you do. And I think then it, you know, somebody's, like you were saying, somebody's hesitant about dying, but now they know that they're in good hands with you. I think that's really wonderful. Yeah.
Wow.
Definitely.
Wow. Thank you so much for your time, Robin. And
You're
we look
welcome.
forward to continue working with you. We've got several more weeks to go through before
Yes.
we get to the end, but
Yes.
Yeah.
it'll be a blast. We have a really good time.
Yep, we do.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you
So,
so much. I really
yes,
appreciate you
thank
guys
you.
taking the time out to do this, and I know how
Yeah.
much work it takes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thanks,
so much.
Robin.
All right.
We'll
Okay.
talk to you soon. Thank
Okay.
you.
You're
Bye-bye.
welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. That was fantastic, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And you guys, a lot of times, these artists, you know, we don't know them personally. You know, we've just like emailed with them and that type of thing. So it's also great for us to get to know them too, which is, you know, just their personality. And she's delightful. Yeah, she's going to have a wonderful class.
Yeah, and it's nice, like you said, it's nice to get to meet them. Well, I had worked with Robin several years ago, but I've never really met her.
Yeah.
Always by email or something like that. And so this has been a real treat to get to hear her and to see her. And I'm glad that she has joined our team because, and you know, when we're selecting the teachers, we're trying to get a balance of a little bit of everything to help. Like she's going to be doing the dyeing. We got paper clay, polymer clay, mixed media, and
felting.
Felting. So there is just a wide range of art that they'll be able to create, which is a lot of fun.
I know. And like what I was saying earlier is everything cross-pollinates. You know, you can take any of these classes like Robin's beautiful dyeing class, and then you'll be able to incorporate that into your own medium, which is, you know, I love dyeing. Who doesn't love dyeing?
Yeah,
so many possibilities. Yeah.
Well, it's been great fun, and I'm glad that so many people showed up. And keep in mind that this is recorded, and you'll be able to replay it later. And keep the questions coming, your comments coming. We love them. We'd love to hear from you. And we have another scheduled teacher interview.
I was just going to give you our dates. Which I don't have in front of us. I will make a little Facebook notice and tell you the dates and who we're interviewing. I guess I wasn't prepared on that end, but
sorry.
That's right. We have more teachers coming. And so I will put those dates out so that you guys can keep an eye on it. So I will put that on my personal page and then also on the Art Connection community page so that you guys will know who's coming up next. So it's going to be great.
So thanks, Leslie. You're doing a great job.
Adele. It's always so much fun. We always have such a great time. We are so excited about this year's summit. We just feel that we have, you know, Adele and I last year, you know, we kind of went in a little bit naive. And so we have learned a great deal. And in fact, Adele and I were just talking this morning before this interview saying, you know, we're at the point now where we are tweaking every little thing to make it really wonderful. I mean, even the way the words are put together, we are really going over this so that it is an incredible experience for you guys. So we're thank you for coming and thank you for showing up. And we appreciate you guys.
We sure do. We appreciate your support and your encouragement. And if you haven't had a chance to sign up in our community, please do so, because we're always posting in there. And a lot of the artists are posting what they're working on. Leslie and I we try to keep posting to keep everybody going. So
yes.
We love to share and also take part in our scavenger hunt with the colors, which is a lot of fun too.
Yes.
So come in there and join us on that. So have a great day, and we'll see you the next time. And thank you again for being here.
Yes, thank you, you guys.
See you later. Bye-bye.